Hello YouTube, this is MinigameFetish, and today we're going to be reviewing Google Pac-Man. One quick note I want to make before I start talking about the game itself is that my computer is new, it's less than a month old, and somehow, in its newness, um, running Hypercam and a game as simple as Google Pac-Man lags me a little bit. I'm going to try to get this fixed as soon as possible so that in future videos, you will not be distracted by slight, very, problems caused by that. So, and also hopefully so I can review better games. Now, moving on to Google Pac-Man. Sometime this year in 2011, Pac-Man, the original Pac-Man, celebrated its 30th anniversary, and so Google, to celebrate, made a Google Doodle. Their Google Doodle was a playable version of Google Pac-Man with a different board that read Google on it. Now, on this new board, there are not that many straight paths, and most of them were a little off, just a little bit, and uneven to the point where, you'd be going, and then you'd have to go up and then immediately to the direction, if you're going right, let's say your Pac-Man character is going right, then you want to keep going, you'd have to go up just a little bit and then immediately right again. It would be so, quick that if you weren't used to it, you might actually miss it and lose a life. That got a little annoying, but also there's two dead ends on the board, which I just flat out don't agree with. Even though one has a vulnerability dot at the end, if you're getting chased by a ghost and you go in there, you won't get trapped. But in the end, it ends up being trapped because Pac-Man's faster than the ghosts. So I don't agree with dead ends on the board at all. Um, Another thing about Google Pac-Man is that the what normally is the I'm feeling lucky button on Google turns into an insert coin button. It's a button that says insert coin, and then you click that once, and then that's how you start the game, and that's how you. And then if you click it again in the middle of a single player game, it restarts the game as two player with Mrs. Pac-Man on the board as well, and you can play as no, you can play as one, and then your friend or someone else can play as the other. The controls for Pac-Man remain the arrow keys. Mrs. Pac-Man is controlled by WASD. Now, in the video clips where I showed this two-player mode, I was playing both characters, so that would be why it didn't seem as quite as skilled. I can't divide my mind in two like that. Also, I don't know if this is in the original Pac-Man if you can play as both characters. Um, I don't think it is. As far as I know, it's not. So correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I thought that was cool. Um, as for two glitches I noticed playing was one that when ghosts were in vulnerability mode, sometimes they would just stay like that until they were caught and you got the points, which I thought was a little cheap, but it's a glitch, whatever. As far as I know, the original Pac-Man didn't have any glitches until you got to level 256, so also, there were a few glitches where just sometimes all the ghosts would be vulnerable, and I'd be going to one, to try and chomp him up, nom nom nom, and get the points. And I went straight through the ghost, and I'd just be sitting there staring at my screen like, what? What just happened? But okay, whatever. As for difficulty level of Google Pac-Man compared to the original, I think it's easier because it's more basic. The ghost's moves are more predictable because basically you if when you chomp on a vulnerability dot and not just a regular dot, and you have like maybe three ghosts going at you, let's say, they all just go away the opposite direction. They go where they were coming from. That's pretty predictable, and I don't think it's as I think it's more basic programming. Um, and I also think it makes it easier that it's that predictable. They also don't work together as much as in the original game. In the original game, I always sit there being kind of impressed at the fact that not only do the ghosts each have their own individual personality, but also they work together in capturing you. In Google Pac-Man, this doesn't happen until they're like either very close to each other, or it just doesn't happen really. So because of that, they're also easier to get away from. And I tried to get footage of some instances where I had all four coming at me from different directions, and I actually managed to get away, which would be a lot harder to do in the original Pac-Man. Again, as I said, it's easier. So getting through levels is, not as hard as in the original Pac-Man. The original Pac-Man, my first try, I blew all my lives on the first level, while in Google Pac-Man, it took like, I think on my second or third try, I was already getting to levels 2 and 3. And it's also easier to get a higher score in Google Pac-Man compared to in Pac-Man. But at the end of level 2, once you beat level 2 in Google Pac-Man, there's this annoying intermission with Pac-Man chasing one of the ghosts, and it lasts like 20 seconds with you just sitting there going, I want to play my game. I'd rather not watch in this annoying intermission. Or at least that's what I thought. And yeah, that's one criticism I have, or another one rather. Also, finally, there's 5 vulnerability dots on Google Pac-Man instead of on Pac-Man there being four, one in each corner. Um, Google Pac-Man has them slightly less lined up, and there's one more than normal. So yeah, that was my review on Google Pac-Man. I hope you guys liked it. Rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions or stuff like that. Requests. I take requests. That is if my computer permits it. If I don't lag too much on Hypercam. So yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.